Hello, everybody. All right. Well, thanks for joining us here. And we have Kathy that I've yet to pull on screen yet. Let's see haven't mouthed. Oh, I think you are on screen. Say hello, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Hey, guys. All right. Well, we got some really great stuff. I want to tell you what we're going to talk about today. The main part is that if you do not know your people, you're going to screw up everything and waste your efforts marketing completely wrong. You're going to design fluid art classes that few people will like or return to, and you're going to lose some money. So today we're going to fix those problems in your business. All right. So Kathy, we got anybody on the chat yet?
You know what? We've got, let's see. No, and you know what? My phone is behind a little bit. So
I think there's always a delay. So that's kind of okay. Yeah, that's all right. Very good. All right. Well, let me share my screen. All right. I was just on Kathy. My mouse just died. I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm going to have to use it by hand here. Share screen. We're going to welcome our new member who is not able to attend live. She said she has a work to do. And great. All right. So I think we're sharing the screen now. And I can go back to my other setup. Good. All right, guys. So our new member is Anna Regan. And so I'm really glad that you've joined us, Anna. And you told me you'll be watching this later, so that'll be just great. All right, here is our agenda for today. We're going to review last month, which was the 10 strategies for overcoming seasonal lows. And that includes the Christmas season and also to prep for the January and February slump time for most of us. Most of us have that, not everybody though. Then today's topic, we're going to talk about, well, there's an error there, about the 5 Ps, and we got a question of the month, and then we're going to talk about, actually I've got both January and February planned out for you as far as what our coaching calls are going to be. I am open to switching that. I just depend on your feedback, so you tell me what you need. And then we'll have some time for Q&A. And so Kathy is here with us. She's going to be monitoring if anybody types in any questions. If you could, do me a favor and please type in if you're attending live, hey, I'm here. And so we can just make sure that our mics are working and we are actually going live. Technology never fails to amaze me. We got somebody live?
Remember, there is a delay too. So if we don't get to it right away, it's just because it's delayed.
Yes, we're not ignoring you. Very good. All right, so last month we talked about how prior planning prevents poor performance, and we talked about 10 different areas in which you can use a strategy. I do not expect that you can implement all 10 of these, particularly this Christmas season, but some of these are going to take a long time to build, such as building a partnership with some businesses in your area. Start what we call a joint venture partnership, where basically you send customers to them and they send customers to you. They're not your competition, even though I don't believe in that word. They are complementary to your business, and so that can help you out. So remember to review those. Remember, we'll go over them real quickly, which is just to diversify. I have recently recognized that my income comes from 6 different income streams. Now, they're not all the same, but it helped me to be able to prioritize what I'm going to focus on and kind of change things up for my 2020 vision, for my vision for the year 2020. Hosting Christmas parties is, get on the Christmas bandwagon. Charities are also up, during the Christmas season. So if we can get connected with those types of things that people are doing more during the Christmas season, that can really help us to get over the slump period. Definitely adding, I think most of us do this, is some Christmas themes such as ornaments, etc., to solve problems for your students. Establish the partnerships like we just talked about, and for goodness sake, take a break. You've earned it. So whenever you map out, Beth's here, great. Hey, Beth. Whenever you have mapped out where your highs and your lows are in the year, then that is a great time to go, okay, well, it's not going to take much away from my business for me to go on a 2-3 week holiday. That's fine. Use your knowledge of your flat seasons to be able to keep an eye on your cash flow, and that means maybe tightening the purse strings or deciding when you're purchasing, doing things in a wise way. Pre-selling, and we talked about 3 different ways. I think they're kind of exciting ways to pre-sell, which includes offering Christmas gift certificates. I don't think it's too late to do that. You could jump on canva.com, get you an image, make it up, post it, connect it to people saying, hey, a great gift for your hard to buy person is to buy them a gift certificate, and work with them that way. And certainly follow the money. You might need to travel, see where the money's coming to you. If it's going away from you, you might need to do some travel teaching if you enjoy doing that. I love doing that. I take my family on vacation all the time, multiple times a year, doing in part of my business, and it's a tax deduction. That's good. And then focusing on promoting your business. Most of the online, particularly, we can do ahead of time, and we can schedule. This morning I was scheduling out some posts in my counseling and coaching business to go weeks and months in advance. Last thing is to really focus on improving what we call continuous product or service improvement. And so we're constantly never get real satisfied with where you're at. Always think about, how can I make this better for my clients? So paying attention to your surveys, even contacting some of your previous students, and asking them, what was good, what was bad, about it. And in fact, this morning I did that. I had a lady that I noticed left the free group, and I sent her a private message saying, I'd really like to know why you left. I can, be brutally honest with me, be frank. I want to know. So to just wrap that up, the seasonality is just a part of our business. We've got to learn to adapt to that. We're going to have really good months and really bad months, as far as incomes. We just need to schedule it and be wise about it and work with it. Good. Now, if you missed that, go ahead.
Here. Connie Great McDonald is here.
All right, great.
She says, yay. She says, yay, finally here.
That's good. I know it's hard in California to match up the times. Oh, yeah, this is a new time. That's right. So we've been doing this at 9 p.m. my local time. We're doing it at 1 p.m. my local time, in order to see if we get a different mix and, kind of be fair, I guess, to other people so they can attend as well. I like to do the review because it keeps us in mind. Also, I'd like to do a preview, and kind of keeps us in mind that, there's a lot of information that is available in this group as part of your membership. Sometimes people struggle with how to find that information. And the nice thing about this Facebook structure that we have is there is a lot of different avenues. And here I've got 4. One is that you can just go to the learning unit and you can search by category. So today, this video, as soon as we're done, I'm going to plop it over into the learning unit that's entitled Marketing and Sales. All right. You can also go to the video tab and check out the videos there. It's a little harder because Facebook hasn't labeled them, or you got to kind of look at the screen and pick it that way. That's a little harder to do. And then the files tab, that's where documents go. And so the handout that I put on the group last night that you should get today would be real good. Particularly, this handout has a worksheet in it that would be very, very practical for you. So I definitely recommend that you download that. And then and there's a previous one that we'll reference later. And so the files tab is just a list of all the documents that's here. And it's kind of a quick find if you want to find something to solve a particular problem or to work on a particular area. The files tab is a great one to go. And then just the search bar. I think people forget that there's this little search bar. It's right along the line of your on a laptop or on a computer. And it works just like doing a Google search, but just completely isolated into that group. And so you can put in there 5 Ps, and it's going to, for today's topic, it's going to show you exactly what we need to do. All right. Very good. So let's move on to today's topic. And today's topic is how to get your next 10 students to your class using the 5 Ps. And we've worded it that way because there's a way to get some very quickly, right? And we're going to call those low-hanging fruit. But that's going to, you can't just depend on that. You also have to have a long-term plan. And the long-term plan is being able to go forward and think about months and even years in the future. And how do I want to get not necessarily the people that are naturally attracted to me and following me anyway, but how do I get the people that I need in my classes to follow and link with me and connect with me? And so that's going to be the majority of what we talk about today. All right. So let's dive into today's topic. The synopsis is that you cannot market to everyone. It's smartest to market to your people first, and these are a combination of the people that are already following you and the people that you need to follow you. So it's time to know who your people are. We're going to help you get there with to be able to up-level your marketing, so you can get your people into your classes, your workshops, your online classes. Some of us are teaching online, and even retreats filled. Now, that means knowing exactly who your people are, what the problems are, and how you're going to be able to solve these problems through your positioning and create a plan to be able to reach these folks. And the last but not least part there is promoting. Now, I'll tell you that the majority of people like to skip those top 4 and go right to promoting, and that's a big mistake. Okay, so here's the list again of those 5 Ps that we're going to talk about today. So we're going to spend the majority of this on people. All right, we're going to talk about the remaining 4 too, especially in relationship to knowing your people. And then we're going to end. And then the next month we're going to do a review of people, and then we're going to really dig into, on a deeper level, the remaining 4, which are the problems, positioning, planning, and promotion. Okay, today will stand on its own. You'll have a lot of good action steps to be able to take on that. But there is just a lot of information, and we had taken that poll that we would like these to be shorter. I was going at some point like an hour and 20 minutes on these lives, and so we're aiming at 30, and then we'll switch over into Q&A. So people. Who is your ideal client? Some of you might remember that in the files section, and we talked about here, it's been on this group for a long time, is something about developing and finding your ideal client avatar. Your avatar is the type of person that comes to your class, and that's what we really need to be able to reach those. There are more people like that that just don't know about you yet, and so marketing is informing them of that you are offering these classes and exactly what you can do for them. All right. So we already alluded to that there's low-hanging fruit. I'm going to give the orchard as a visual here, and that you can walk up to those and you can pick those. They're ripe, they're ready. You can get 10 more people into your classes right away doing that. You're also going to need what I'm going to call an extension ladder to reach the top of the tree. And there's some great fruit up there that is sun ripened, that really, really well, perfect for you. And it's going to take some more work. And let's make no mistake about it. The extending part is going to be you. You are going to be the part that has to extend, and you're going to be the part who has to change. What'd you say, Kathy?
Beth says shorter is better when you're sneaking this into at work.
That's right. So Beth is on our lunch break, and she likes shorter. So that's good. I'm so glad you're able to join us, Beth. Good. All right. So who are the people that already know, like, and trust you? Okay. So that's going to be a catchphrase. You're going to hear that everywhere. You're going to hear it in this group. Who are the people that know, like, and trust you? These are the people that are coming to your class. They're particularly the people that are coming back to your classes. These are your repeat students. The core of my business is on returning students. That's really where the money is. Not only are they great because you're not just having to sell them, at once. I sold them once to come to the class, and they've come 4 or 5 times now. But they're also the ones that are bringing their friends. They're the ones that are exciting. So you're getting, and their friends then become your core, and they grow. And so we grow exponential that way. Number 2 is, what are your people's problems? Now, there's the obvious to us, which is how do I solve my students' problems? They don't know about fluid art, and they don't know how to do it. So I help them to know and enjoy fluid art. Okay, so that's the obvious one. That's the one that's up front. But we really want to focus on their secondary gains. These are a lot more motivating. They just they make the decision why somebody impulsively says, yes, I'm going to take that class, or no, they don't. It's their secondary gains. What are their secondary motivators, if you will, that usually they're not even conscious of. And so it's even a little harder for us to learn what those are, because we got to kind of peel through the layers and see what is going on. Why is this person coming to our class? One of the main ways of learning that is to look at your class surveys. If you are not doing class surveys, I do them both in a printed, where they just write it out, and then I also email them a survey too. They ask slightly different questions, but I'm still trying to get out of them. One of the main things that I want to get from them is their secondary motivators or secondary gains. Why are they coming to my class? And so you start to see things like, examples these are literal ones that I have taken right off of the surveys that have been spoken about me. So Casey sets a tone for experimentation and exploration to release my own creativity. That's cool. That person has some insight about themselves. They've learned that it's not just that I wanted to learn how to pour paint on a canvas. The next one is Casey's classes are calm and peaceful. Okay, well, what was that person looking for? Why were they coming? All right, that gives you a little bit more insight about why they would return. And the last one I have for you is I felt safe to take risks and focus on the process more than the outcome. Okay, well, that's my favorite one right there, right? Yeah. So one of it is, and yours are going to be different. All right. So the type of responses that you're getting from your surveys are not going to look like mine necessarily. All right. Now you could pick out some things and go, oh yeah, I want to get that kind of response. And so you might change up your class structure. Let's say that you have like a panicky, well, my classes when I began were kind of panicky, it's like, oh my gosh, I got this long list of things that we'll never get to. And I tried to push too much into one class. And I was like, no, that's not working. I'm going to reduce the amount of things that we're doing. I'm going to have a more casual style, right? And, when people say, oh, can I do this? I don't say, no, that's not appropriate, for this art form. I say, let's find out. Go ahead. We can scrape it off. We will all learn together, right? And that has been this fun kind of interchange in which people really seem to have enjoyed it. So are they coming to me to learn the same information that they can get off of a YouTube video? No, they're coming for an experience and they're willing to come back and pay for that experience. And so be thinking about what you're offering your students is a lot more than just a how-to checklist, okay? Some of it's going to be based on how you are gifted. Now, I've been a counselor for 20 years, and so I have certain gifts and even skills that have kind of worked in there, teaching group and group dynamics and helping people to open up and share, all right? So that's become very second nature to me. That may or may not be your gifting, but whatever your gifting is, whatever you flow in, whatever you have to offer, whatever your gift to the world is, it will come through during your classes, and you just have to give yourself, one is recognize it and give yourself permission to flow in that, whatever that might be. And that will attract certain people, and that will affect both your low-hanging fruit and also the people that stick with you that we have to go after a little bit more. All right.
Donna, I'm probably going to massacre this last name, but Hook Stratton. Okay. She said, yes, indeed, she does surveys and that she finds it very helpful.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that, Donna. That's great. I'm so glad that you're already doing that. And you know what? Maybe this would be a good thing for us to discuss. We have, over in the learning unit, we have all the education vault, if you will. We have these lives, we have these Q&As, we have these other things, but really the feed that's in the Facebook group is our opportunity to discuss. So Donna, I'd love for you to post some of the responses that you're getting on your surveys. That'll be a great example for other people who have an opportunity to get feedback. And that's really what this community is about, all right? You could get information by reading a book, right? We're doing this in this format so that we can get feedback, structure, accountability from each other. And so I hope that you and others will show or post exactly what you got going on. All right, Mike.
That's real stuff. That's real stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, let's do the real thing there. That's good. All right. Well, my phone is very delayed, and I still haven't even seen if we're evidently we're live. We got people commenting and stuff, but I'm not able to actually see my screen. Does it fit well on the screen? Y'all give me feedback if I'm showing you half a sentence or something here right now. Little technical problems today. All right. And so to attract the right client, you must understand them, body, mind, and soul. You've got to really get a feel for who they are and get to know them, and also them get to know you. All right. So there's a requirement, to be a good teacher, to have a certain vulnerability wherever you open up and you show people. And I got to tell you, I do something to screw up every class that I teach. Do you, Kathy? I mean, I make mistakes all the time. And so I found that I'm more vulnerable I am, like just now with the technical stuff, right? The more forgiving people on there, more like, oh, we're all human, we all make mistakes. So that behooves us to be that kind of vulnerable.
Yeah, it goes to show that this is live and that this is the real thing, and that we're here, we're live.
I love it. Good. So we got to get to know people. We got to connect with them. We got to get them following us. We got to get them on our email lists. Without a following, you're not going to be able to fill your classes. Okay. So, and I could say without any doubt that the number one reason why people fail at this is poor marketing. All right. So all that we're doing with the P's is to be able to affect our marketing. All right. We're going to get there. All right. but poor marketing is number one reason. So let's talk about number 3, which is positioning. I'm giving a brief overview of the 5, but we're really focusing on people today. Positioning and marketing your solution to your people's problems. Marketing is a holistic, multi-step process. We would love it if we could just put an ad in the newspaper and forget about it. No, that's just not the way that marketing works today. It's a personal connection to other folks. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. To be clear, marketing is the process of getting folks interested and how you can help them. And so, again, think outside the box of just pouring art. I'm going to show you how to do something on a canvas and then go home and put it up, right? Is that you also offer other things. There's other reasons, the secondary motivators for why they're there. The simplest way to explain it is that if you want to make sales, you need to know your 5 Ps. And let's do an overview now of the 5 Ps. People, who your ideal client is. You hear me say the word ideal client avatar. And knowing them as well as you know yourself. Problems, what problems that they have that you can solve for them, that you can help them with your business. Positioning, what products and services of yours solve those specific problems. Planning, what strategies you implement consistently to attract those clients. All right, you heard me talk about scheduling out Facebook posts that I did earlier this morning. We have to do that consistently. We have to, not just on a whim or when we feel like it, right? I like to do batching, and so I batch several posts all at once, for example, right? So there's ways to do this, but we got to just use the self-discipline to do it. And the last one is promotion. How do you find these potential clients and turn them into buyers or turn them into students of your class? All right. It would be overwhelming for you to try to tackle all 5 Ps at once. And so one of the reasons why I'm separating these is I want you to just focus on people right now. And then we're just going to focus on 1 P. We're going to do the rest of them the next month, but I want you to focus on 1 P at a time, right? You got to think about it in relationship to the other Ps, but that's what's really going to fix what's not working in your business. All right. So we talked about how frequently people just skip right over the first Ps. You can't do that. They try to get to marketing. If you are marketing blind, you're going to be hit and miss. You might be getting your ideal client avatar. You might not. And so you really need to do some good thinking about this. All right. This is an important statement that I want to read to you, and it's in bold here in the handout. Well, it may be true that you can help everyone. Unfortunately, you cannot market to everyone. Now, for years, as a counselor, I've kind of always felt like my wife has actually accused me of this. She said, you just think you can help everybody. Because somebody will say something or do something no matter where we're at, and I'll be like, hey, I can help with that. And she's, and I do feel that way. I do feel like I have something maybe to offer everybody, no matter what they're going through, what they need help with. But one thing that in some ways it's been harder for me to accept that I have to niche down, get specific in my marketing, and go after that one type of person, which is going to talk about our psychographics instead of our demographics. We're going to hit that in just a minute. Maybe I can help everybody, probably not, but I cannot market to everybody. That's impossible, and you'll lose tons of money. So one of the wonderful things that we have in today's technology is take, for example, Facebook ads, is that we can focus, laser target focus in on exactly the person that we want, and we know that we can help, and we know that has the capacity to be our financially and time-wise to be able to attend our classes. That's a specific kind of person, and yet unique for all of us. We've got to understand their biggest problems and create an environment in which and the content of our classes in order to be able to best help them. Let's just think about it this way. Imagine if you focused on your ideal client avatar and were clear about their top 3 desires, and you created your class, your program, maybe some online supplements, those types of things to be able to help them to be able to succeed. That person would have absolutely no problem figuring out that becoming your student, becoming your client is the best thing for them, and sign up. And so if you market to everybody, you will not be able to tell if what you're promoting will help them because you're speaking in generalizations instead of specific. When we do that, folks don't buy. And the way that we get to your ideal client is knowing their psychographics, not just their demographics. Now, what's the difference between psychographics and demographics? I'm going to give you some examples. I referred to this last month, but I'm going to give you more details about it today. So included in this handout is a checklist, if you will. It's at the top of it, the page is called "What the Heck is Psychographics?" And so I'm not going to read all these things, but psychographics are like personality traits, values, desires, attitudes, their strengths and weaknesses, things like, where do they eat out? How do they save money? How do they spend money? What they consider their life purpose, their body image, health, etc. So you guys go back and look at that in detail. But most importantly is their secret desires and worries. These are the things they don't admit or talk about to anybody, maybe even in denial about it themselves. So we're going to have to do a really good job of understanding, what do I have to offer someone? And is that something that is like that I can meet? So maybe it's just they need peace, right? Just last week, I had one of my repeat customers. She's in her 70s and she died, and it was really sad, right? I just got the news, and actually her husband, was very sweet, he contacted me and said, all of her art supplies I've got to, liquidate. Would you help me find someone to give them to, right? And so she came to several of my classes. I know her daughter really well, right? And one of her reasons she kept coming back, I learned a lot from working with this student, is that I asked her, I said, do you do this, this fluid art at home? She says, no. Why would I want to make a mess there? I'll make a mess with you, right? And she had other complimentary things to say about the atmosphere of the classes. So we learned a lot from that. I was meeting some legitimate needs that she had and went way beyond just art, right? Okay, so let's talk about, this is two twins. This is made up, but one twin's name is Clara and the other one's name is Casima. And so Clara is 45. She has one child. She's married, Republican, conservative, religious, dental assistant who makes about $40,000 a year. She likes her church group. Her life revolves around her family. She reads House and Garden magazines, trying to save money on food, shops at Walmart and Target, has a dog, worries about gaining weight, and her husband not being attracted to her. Okay, so that's Clara. Her twin sister is Casima. Casima, also, of course, being 45, but she has no kids. She's single. She's a liberal Democrat. She's very spiritual. She co-owns a really hip coffee shop. She makes about 80 grand a year. She reads yoga magazines, meditates in a weekly group. Life revolves around travel whenever she can. She loves Game of Thrones, This Is Us, and shops at Whole Foods, has no pets, and she worries about the planet and about a guy meeting her who really gets her. Now, these two, they're being twins. They have the same demographics, right? But they have very different psychographics. Do you see what we're getting to? All right. So knowing the site, none of them is like this. You should aim at one. I'm not telling you aim at Casima, because she'd be your ideal. She may not be, right? Clara might be your ideal client avatar. See how all of us teach differently and we all reach different people. I'm also hoping that this discussion will help you to stop worrying about competition. If you got 3 or 4 other people in your area also teaching fluid art, there's room. We're all going after different folks, right? We're not going to click with everybody. So they have the same demographics, but some really different psychographics. Knowing this helps you to be able to laser focus your marketing about not only, it also helps you to know you, right? Who are you, right? And then what you're offering. And then you have a ideal client avatar based on who you are too, all right? So you're in the mix of this formula as well. Be thinking about the idea here is to see the world through. Let's say that Casima is your ideal client, okay? And so we want to see the world now through Casima's avatar, her eyes. All right, what does Casima's eyes see as she comes home and she looks at the mail? What kind of flyers does she get in her mail? Right, when she goes online, what groups does she hang out with on Facebook? What TV shows does she watch? These kind of things, right, where we can get our information in front of her. So we want to be thinking about what our ideal client avatar, what does her eyes see? And we want to make sure that we're in front of it. For example, let's say that you discover through just casual conversation during your classes that several of your students go to a place called U Yoga Studio. Not only would you approach the yoga studio for a cooperative partnership relationship, but you'd also consider advertising in the very same media that they find successful, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel here. Once you know your client avatar, it kind of makes everything easy. Let's say that the U Yoga Studio's owner is named Pam Stretchy. Sorry. You Facebook stalker, and you see her profile, and you see that you have 13 friends in common. And so you contact some of your friends and you ask them to introduce you to Pam and to tell you a little bit about Pam. And so when you meet with Pam, it all goes really well. And you say, hey, I'd really like to do a class in your studio. And she gets 40% of the money collected. It's a pretty poor class. So, only about 7 people show up. But in the process of cooperatively marketing, you reach many more of your ideal student avatars. There's 85 people that came through the studios and saw those flyers hanging up on the bulletin board. And Pam has, for 4 years, has been curating her email list, and she sent out several emails about your class to about 900 people that receives that email. All right, so maybe we didn't make a whole lot of money in this tiny class, right? And that wasn't, a super exciting thing. But now you have just focused, you got an wonderful laser focused marketing on your ideal client avatar. So also in the process, you learned some of Pam's advertising habits, and she has found that she gets a really good response from advertising in something called Hometown Billboard, which is a packet of flyers that are mailed out to a select audience. And so you try a small ad next month, right? So instead of just kind of throwing your money, haphazard, you're going, no, what will work, best for me? And you try those out. Now you're starting to see the big picture here about how knowing your people directly affects your promotion. All right, so I hope we're getting that connection here. All right, we're winding up now. Let's see how I'm just going to kind of skip a few. Make sure that you get the handout and you read through this. I'm giving you kind of an overview, but there is some more details there that I want you to be able to get. We want to go beyond just the low-hanging fruit and who I naturally attract. We also want to make a shift now and make a choice about the ideal clients that I want coming to my classes. This is where it's going to take it out. You get out of your comfort zone. Remember, I said earlier that we're going to use an expansion ladder or extension ladder, and you are the ladder. You're going to have to expand. You're going to have to extend. You have to change and grow. It's never comfortable. It's always a stretch. So you start making some choices about the type of client that you are pursuing, and you narrow those focuses, and you get very specific with your client. I have built my business to consistently make over $1,000 doing a half-day workshop. I use this tactic. I can tell you that it works. But if you insist on marketing to everyone, you will get no one.
Beth says using tag words, descriptions, etc., and how you phrase can target them as well.
Love that. Yeah. There's we'll be talking about soon about being able to go to your friends list and being able to put them into a special list on Facebook. Some of you guys already know how to do that, but to do that in an organized way, right? So, but that's great. That's really good stuff. All right. So I think I missed something. Oh, there was another example. I think I might have just skipped over it. Is if you find out that your ideal client avatar belongs to the country club, then what you want to do, like I don't belong to the country club, I don't golf, all right? But if I find that out, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be participating in as many activities at the country club as I possibly can, right? And I'm going to be thinking about how I can get in front of those. Maybe they have a charitable thing that they do, and a lot of the members come to that, and maybe I go and I volunteer and I do some art projects with the benefiter of the charity or something, right? I'm getting my company, Dynamic Fluid Art, in front of their eyes as much as possible. So you got some homework. The homework is that who is the absolute most ideal client that you want to have in your next class. And so you can go already in the files section. We'll be enhancing that one soon, but there's a handout called How to Develop and Then Market to Your Ideal Client Avatar. And I've got a link that's both in this handout that you can see there. And then what I'd love for you to do is, in about 3 sentences in this very same thread that's part of this video, is to comment not just the demographics, but the psychographics. In about 3 sentences, tell us who is your ideal client avatar, all right? And I think that'll be really helpful to everybody, because I think it'll be encouraging when they're all different, when we put in there that we're really not chasing the same people, even if we all lived in the same town, which we don't. So the next one is talking about next month. We're going to talk more about the problems and the other remaining P's. And so your problems is your clients' problems, the ones that they will gladly pay you to help solve, what you can fix in their classes. And so it can't just be any problem. It has to be a top of mind pain point that will drive them to want to work with you and come to your class. And if you can't think of anything concrete yet, then make sure that you make our next coaching call, okay? So for a quick review and preview of this topic, the first 5 Ps actually has taken about half of our discussion. I'm going to preview the remaining 4 so you have a good, picture of the whole picture here. Next month, I'm going to briefly review on what we discussed today and then train more thoroughly on the remaining Ps. So again, number 1 is remember that people is psychographic data of who your ideal client, and you making a choice about what type of person that you want to work with and what you want to go after. Problems is what problems they have that you can solve for them in your classes. Positioning is what products or services of yours solve these specific problems, and planning is what strategies you implement to consistently attract those clients. And finally, promotion is how will you find these potential clients and turn them into buyers. Okay. All right, Kathy, you got any questions or anything in the discussion?
No, not really. It was pretty quiet out there today.
Yeah, it is.
Beth did mention that the banner at the bottom is a little too big.
Oh, okay.
It did kind of cover up some of the words at the bottom.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. I can remove that very easily. So, all right. So next week, or I'm sorry, next month, we are going to, in January, we're going to talk about the problems, positioning, planning, and promotion. In February, unless somebody says, hey, I need something more urgently than that, which you are very welcome to give that information to me, okay? Let me know, give me feedback. We're going to talk about how to perfectly price your classes, workshops, online programs, and retreats. So how do we do the pricing on that? All right. Well, this has been Casey Corbin. This has been Kathy. If we don't have any more questions or anything, then what we're going to do is go ahead and shut down here, and I'll see you guys soon. Anything else, Kathy?
I don't see anything else. Beth was the last one. So
usually we get again, about 10% of the people that watch, and then about 90% is viewed in replay. So if you're watching this on replay right now, feel free to put any kind of questions that you have in the comments. I'll be reviewing those, particularly if you tag me. If you say Casey in there and tag my name, then it gets to my attention. Then I'll definitely get in there and answer your questions. Okay.
A lot of good information, though.
Good.
I never thought of it in that context. So that's good. We've got Connie Greg McDonald says, thanks, Casey. And Beth Dean says, C and K, bye.
Okay.
And Donna says, no questions. Thank you both.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Here's my outro video. Bye, Kathy.
Thank you. Bye-bye, all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.